And we are back with more Factorio. Here we go. I am Pax. We are continuing here with the playthrough of Factorio Space Age. And... oopsies. But last time we built our collector spaceship here to help us get asteroids and upcycle them into the higher quality asteroids using the asteroid reprocessing recipe with quality modules. And we're still waiting on a few more of the rare crushers. Novice is trying to crank out some production of all these rare items for us. We are definitely collecting a lot of rare iron ore and coal and calcite already, so we dump all the asteroids onto our little belt in the middle here and upcycle until we get the legendary ones. And we then grab them off and process them into calcite or iron or coal. I want to do a couple of things to just upgrade the ship a little bit, get these things going a little bit faster now that we have the extra electricity from the higher quality nuclear power plant. I slowed it down a little bit. Also want to just make one of these contraptions over here. And so just going to use this splitter to actually mix up all the stuff on the sushi belt. That way we use the full capacity of the belt basically, and I think this will help our throughput. Half the belt is right now only reserved for ammo, so I thought I'd just start mixing it up. The whole belt still has the reed belt contents, so that's fine for all the logic, but this little strip here doesn't have it, so it's a little unstable, but it won't be a big deal. I think it just looks a little cooler mixed up and should also help get all the material spread out a little more evenly than how it is right now. And yes, our collector ship's going to be flying around the inner solar system and just running around and collecting asteroids and processing them, and eventually I want it to be unloading at Vulcanus for where we're going to today build the processing of all the legendary material. But first I somehow lost a biolab, and unfortunately probably those really good prod modules that came with it, and I don't know what happened to it, so we're gonna switch it over, and maybe we need to switch over to some agricultural science there, in the sense we have some in stock, and we'll just rebuild a biolab there. And no idea how it died. Maybe somehow a spider spawned over here or something and ran over there and killed the biolab, but nothing else got damaged. I don't know. I don't know what happened. And yes, hopefully we'll crank out the last few materials for the collector spaceship here. I think Gleb is doing pretty good. We want to keep our stack and server production up, but we don't have enough blue circuits, so I wanted to speed up the blue circuits by putting some modules, speed modules in these beacons. And we probably have a decent number of higher quality tier 3 modules. We can upgrade some of these beacons that are giving us efficiency for whatever reason, but if we get a little bit more blue circuit production, that should hopefully get our stack inserter production going a little better. And I believe we are bringing the stack inserters back home. Not yet. Nope. So let's do this. It seems something like that's all we need to try to get them coming. We also are going to eventually want to upgrade Fulgora here. Well, we can definitely just at least get rid of this. And I think the high quality holmium will probably be one of our most difficult bottlenecks, and are on our way to get this achievement where we get the legendary armor and fill it with legendary equipment. And so we'll need to come back to Fulgora to give it an upgrade, but maybe in another session. Also want to fiddle around with our spaceship over here, just make sure that all of the railgun turrets in the front can shoot all the asteroids. And now that we've switched it over to use the regular explosive rockets, it seems to be pretty stable and running around bringing modules everywhere, hopefully, and getting us the stone and bringing things back to the Quillo, and we want to make sure that this can go around to all the planets and unload, because we want it to essentially spread the modules out everywhere and make sure everything has them, and we want to make sure all of our planets are requesting the modules and such. Very good, very good. So cranking out the quantum processors and things, and it does look like you're on the way with new models in stone. And did we also start producing foundation? Yes. So I think we also want to bring around foundation. So let's make another group here. That would be ×2 and 200. So lots of rockets are required to carry that around, but we do want that in all these different planets, and especially here on Vulcanus eventually, because it will be able to hit over the lava. And also what we need here is to get some cryogenic plants. So let's see, let's make sure we can get those coming, and next time the transport ship here comes down, it'll bring some. So it should have cryogenic plants. Yeah, we really don't need 10 railgun turrets on this thing, so maybe just lower that to 4. Yeah, I think it should be pretty good with this, and hopefully things will be cranking out. Everything does look like it's working pretty well. Okay, so here on Vulcanus, the first thing we want to do is just... This is not connected for one. Let me turn this on, get my bots working. Yeah, we're running low on the tungsten ore, so we started building this train stop, and so let's finish this up. So we need to make this a tungsten ore request, and we will start to make a train station here, I guess. Let's do it with these. And then it should be at that side of the belt, I think. Then we'll have a red belt of tungsten ore coming down. Okay, so that is 1/2, and then we'll do something similar on the other end. So I'm gonna just copy this here, and let's bring it down here. I guess we can squeeze it in maybe right there. Yeah, that's fine. We'll move all this, so just go away. And we don't need that. Okay, so the idea will be to get a train up here to bring the tungsten ore back from the mine, of course. And so we need to finish the train station here. Something like this, I guess, and we'll bring it up and through. Okay, so let's grab our little miner blueprint thing here and finagle it on here. See where we can get it. Let's maybe start with this. And again, it's putting the things down where I don't really want to put the foundation down. So this can't even really go down either. Neither can this. Alright, so let's see if there's more. Yeah, just that's fine actually. I think that still has everything covered. Yeah, I don't need to really overthink it too much here. And let's see if we can put one up here. Maybe over here. Okay, there is sort of a start to our tungsten mine here. So let's see if we can get these belts out. And this will probably just merge with that one. And we can bring the belts down. Maybe we'll get one more over here, a little thing like this or something. So let's just bring them all down over here then. Okay, see our bots are starting to get out here. Very nice bots. Right, we probably need another roboport, maybe back here. And even... Okay, pretty cool, pretty good, maybe. There we go, that is pretty much the miners at least. And we can then put everything onto red belts here. Send it on down into the train station. Let's rename this one to Provide. Tungsten ore provide. And okay, so now what we're gonna do is, well, we can use the rail planner to actually just build the train blueprint all the way out here. So if we hold down shift, we can see it draws pretty much a straight line, and that's because it's going to put the foundation over the lava, and so we don't really have enough foundation to do that. But you can also hold down control and it will do the non-destructive version of the rail planner. So if we control it back, then yeah, just, you know, pretty much instantly found this sort of not actually too convoluted path from the two ends of the station and just automatically put it down for us. So that should be pretty good with getting us a bit of the trains down there. Let me just do a little more right here for some reason. Okay, cool. So we have our mine set up, and hopefully the trains are set up, and hopefully things are going. How are you doing? We're chilling at Forgora, almost back around for another trip to Novice, and so hopefully we get these last few of the asteroid collectors. Let's see what we have in the network. Okay, we have 10, and so hopefully then that's gonna go, those are gonna go up next time we come by, so we should see this be pretty much done the next round. All right, so then here, what we want to do, well, yep, it's time to go fight more demolishers, and we have a new weapon though, which will be the railgun ammo. So let's get this coming. Should I make quality ones? All right, easy. Let's see, we also want to just start expanding over here. So let's build some new grid path, and we want to get some more substations. So let's just throw some of these down. Get this copied. All right, we'll get expanding over there. We should have very little trouble with the demolishers now that we have the railgun. So let's go pay them a visit. So let's see. I guess we'll start with our friend just to the south over here. Time for some revenge demolishers. Haven't had the easiest time finding them. Hey, bud. Hey. But it should be pretty easy now with the railgun. So I want to line up and I tickled him with my lasers just so to get him to chase me a little bit, I guess. But then I just kind of want to wait till he lines up kind of straight. And see ya. Yikes. Yeah, so makes pretty short work of the small demolishers there, especially if you get a straight shot on them, just because of how much damage the railgun does. And I think every segment of the demolisher can take damage, and since it pierces, you really can just pretty easily shoot them down with only maybe one shot of a railgun, maybe two. We'll have to go fight a bigger demolisher here in a second, so let's see. Let's go out to the west of it, see if we can clear out some of these guys. Hello, demolishers. Where are they? Okay, here's a medium one. he even noticing me? Hey, bud. Oh, not one shot. Not two shot. Oh. We need bigger guns. That took a couple of shots to kill that one. Yikes. Okay, so there's a medium one. And lots of calcite over here. How many shots do I have? 5. Let's see, let's switch up science a little bit. Hello, how are you? Demolisher. Come out to play. Here's a little one. Stomp. Yes. Revenge. Oh, okay, here's a big medium one. I only have 4 shots, so I'll make the most of them. Just get right into his face. There we go. Alright. It just disables my mech suit, I guess. Alright, there we go, there we go, there we go. Some demolisher revenge for us. Some tungsten out here now, cleared off some space. And yes, that is the power of the railguns. So then, now, hopefully the bots are working their way over here. Sort of, maybe, slowly, slowly. I see, this is not a good spot. That maybe is necessary for at least a little bit, Oh, we don't actually have cliff explosives, do we? Okay, let's make some of those. Give me those. Alright, let's go just 1, 2, 3. Right here is fine. And let's see, we need cliff explosives, but they need grenades and barrels. So we need to make those as well. Grenades. That's not a good spot. Okay, cliff explosives. Alright, here we go. Cliff explosives. Here, here, here. And we need this. Then we need barrels and also grenades. Yes. And we can do this. Okay. That should be fine. Speed this up or something. I wouldn't mind having the speed modules, so let me grab some. Actually, I could also just put this on my thing. Everyone should have modules. Let's get you asking them for them too. Okay, our train track is built actually, and mine is pretty much built. There's tungsten there, so let's get the train online. And here we'll get train. We need to get some fuel there, so let's put this down and grab just some rocket fuel off the car bus there and bring it back. We'll just do this, it's fine. And we can just zig it and zag it, whatever. It's all good, I guess. Shove it into the train, please. Rocket fuel. And we want to say go to provide until you're full cargo. Go to request until you're empty cargo. Simple, simple. Like that. And hopefully the bots are coming out here pretty soon. These belts are also stacked, so get the, see the ores are stacked up and getting even more throughput with them. Maybe some of the stuff up here can get destroyed, I guess, or something. Alright, so hopefully that is happening. We got our train here and one little belt missing there, but get our rocket fuel going. Okay, and we should hopefully start seeing this come to life. And yes, we do need to destroy all these cliffs though, so get those deconstructed here. Quite a bit of cliffs there, but should have the cliff explosives coming now. Cool, and yep, we want to, of course, redesign the car bus. I'm going to put it here, and yeah, we'll just live with this for now, it's fine. And this one goes there. Okay, that is going to be where we build our new design for the legendary processing. Okay, how is our collector ship going? So yeah, we are heading back to Novice again. We have only a handful of the machines left. Did it pick them up last time, or asteroid? There's 8 more. We got 2 epic ones too, so let's just throw down and ask for these just 2 epic crushers. And we'll just, you know, pop down a couple more eventually. And hopefully Novice is doing work with the production. It is just seemingly cranking out, I think. Got our make everything machine cycling through all the different products. And then hopefully maybe it will throw down a few more. Let's see. Let's have you wait just a little bit longer, maybe. And see if we can get these last 2 built. They're on their way, so should send up another rocket load of the crushers here. And we have the modules. Let's see, we've now collected 1.6 thousand iron and almost 200 legendary coal, so it's definitely working. There goes a couple of our asteroid crushers. And we need just 1 more. It's building, so should work, right? On the way, 10, 0, 9. Okay, good. Alright, so that should mean that I can turn this off, and it should just wait for this since it's on the way already. That'll give us our last ones, and we'll be fully operational here with our legendary processing. Yes, so eventually we will be bringing all that stuff down, and we're going to... Okay, we got our cryogenic plants, perfect. So we're going to actually move the hub here. The general plan will be to have the hub over here. Oops, wait, I need to actually... I'm just going to cut it so I make sure it has all the same recipes and stuff. So I'm just going to put it here for now. I was thinking of having some kind of system where I bring the cars like all the way around the hub like this so that I can have a ton of throughput, so that's kind of maybe the idea, I guess. Could be something like this. Although I'm not sure we'll need it per se, so we do want all of our alignment contraptions and such around every bend, and so this really can't go there either. So let's maybe put it over here. Okay, alright, okay. So we could do that, and basically we're just going to be unloading, you know, all of the useful stuff here. So this would be the, you know, legendary iron ore, the legendary coal, and the legendary calcite, for instance, and eventually maybe we'll also have the collector bring us sulfur, but we'll ignore that pretty much for now, so we'll think about that later. And okay, so we want to design our car. I'm going to kind of put it up here so it's a little bit out of the way. Okay, honestly, I think just one of each thing is probably enough, so yes, we're having the car bus here do the design for the legendary processing, so we need to give a slot for basically all the legendary types of material we're going to use, and essentially the idea is that from the space ingredients we can make quite a lot of different things. So from the calcite we can make stone, and of course then we can make stone bricks, and with iron and stone bricks we can make concrete, and then with steel and such we can make refined concrete. So we want also all of the iron. Of course we can make from iron ore, we can make steel from iron ore, but we'll actually be making it from what they call the LDS shuffle. And so one of the most productive things to do is actually make coal into plastic and make plastic into low density structure. And then you just recycle the low density structure and get tons of copper and steel. And also because we are getting somewhat high on our low density structure productivity bonus, this becomes better and better until the point where you're essentially getting the iron and copper for basically free. This will be the heart of all of our future legendary production, and our main goal for today will be to build actually the legendary quality modules. So we're gonna try to focus on that for today, and maybe then we'll have the sulfur eventually, and like the explosives, batteries even. Batteries is much more likely. So yeah, I think then we can come back to this and decide later what else we might want to put on this part of the hub. And so I'm just going to box out all the rest of the inventory in the cars and just leave it with this, not too crazy amount of space for all the legendary material there. Okay, and then I'm going to just, start shoving it all down and getting that going. But what we also need to do is have all the oil processing, and so I'm going to basically copy this entire thing. Okay, I did it pretty well, I think. So let's copy all of this and plop it down. So we're going to need all this over here. Something like this too. Yeah, we'll just get this as well. And bring it over here and try to mine this coal patch out as well here. Okay, that should get pretty much all of it, I think. Ish, maybe? Maybe-ish? That's fine, I guess. Okay, so we'll get all these together. This is going to be tons of production. Make sure the belts are going the right way. And grab some more Roboto Portos for this. Okay, so that's going to be our coal processing here, and we're going to just then shove it into this coal liquefaction. So we're going to need the fluids, all the stuff for fluids. And I think I'm going to use this also like maybe as some backup coal for way over here. Let's move this over here. And we need more RoboForts out here probably to get this built. Like here. Okay, they're kind of going. Our cars are on the bus a little bit, but let's see. If I can just maybe do it myself, might help. Just needs to clean up some of the rocks still. Okay, there are some of the cars down, and the bus is starting to take shape a bit. Let's grab the timer circuit thing here and set it up over here and get some spacing system set up. So we'll just plop it right here, I guess. And that should be fine. And I also want to bring this coal directly in and put it into the cars, because cars have a fuel slot and the inserters can't take out of the fuel slot. It's a problem. So if we put legendary coal there, it will be lost. So I want to just put regular coal there. And so this inserter should have a fine time doing that. Shouldn't be really a big deal at all to do, I don't think. All right, we're getting our cliff explosives out here finally. Getting rid of these cliffs and let's get rid of this hideousness here. Okay, yes. So hopefully we see some coal coming and we got this going a little, getting there. And what we need to do as well is, well, for one, why is it like this? What we need to do is have some heavy oil to jumpstart the whole system. So I'm just gonna pack it in right here and just bring down heavy oil. And then plug it in. Well, right here, I guess is where it goes actually. Okay. And then we need the calcite and steam stuff, so that's this thing. Let's put this here. I guess it doesn't even matter where it goes, does it? Because we want to get some sulfuric acid over here. I think that's probably not the right good spot. Okay, let's redo this. Okay, that's better. And, well, there's no calcite over here either, so let's just request some. Alright, so I'm using bots. That'll give us the steam, and we should hopefully see the coal coming once everything's ready, I guess. Okay, there we go. There's some. My guys will do some work, I guess. Okay, that will work out eventually, I'm pretty sure. And we should see it maybe starting to go, and there's some steam. Should give us tons of it. 10,000 steam there. Cool. Okay, there we go. There is our whole liquefaction set up. Things are working now, finally, and let's check on our collector. Okay. Nice, all the crushers are down, and so we should be getting the close to the full throughput here. So we've already got 2,000 iron and 250 coal and 200 calcite, basically, so that's pretty good. So we're almost ready to actually start requesting it down. Let's check on our train and start getting this going. So it should just be able to work, right? So let's just watch it take its maiden voyage, follow it along our spaghetti track here, and there we are. Okay, lots of mining drills, still some production, still some stuff to be done out here, but I think the bots are just getting it done eventually, slowly. I don't think there's that many construction bots either. Okay, filled up with the ore, heading back. Our first train load of tungsten ore. The elevator rails are actually very cool, so kudos to Factorio here. Okay, there we go, there we go. Awesome. Start cleaning this up a little bit more. There's basically nothing left now. Okay, so yeah, good. We're loading this coal on here. That's a good sign. So we are almost ready. And yeah, so this should come back here soon enough. Next time it goes to Volcanus, we do want you to start unloading. And I'll just get it to unload everywhere, because you can also shuffle modules around for us, and maybe you'll bring Volcanus some more good productivity modules there. And we might need some pumps over here, so I'm going to put a row of pumps right here. Alright, so then once we're ready, the ship will come back and we'll just make a request for legendary space stuff. And so this will just be the iron. It's a legendary iron. Let's just get a lot, 4,000 maybe 2,000, let's say. Something like this, 500. And the calcite, let's say 500. So we'll request it down, put it onto the cars, and start to do some production, of course. And we want to be as productive as possible. The first thing I want to make is a little machine for turning the calcite into stone, basically. And the way we're going to do that is using a foundry, of course. The molten copper from lava makes a ton of stone, so we take one calcite and we'll make 15 stone, but of course we want the legendary version of this. And so this will be like a huge amount of stone from a tiny amount of calcite, and of course we just want to pump some lava in. So let's just get this going here. Then once we start getting our legendary calcite, we should be producing the stone. So let's see, got Fulgora, so Novice and then Volcanus, so we'll be there pretty soon. Got lots of stuff. Let's say when we get to Volcanus, let's just chill there for a second, just make sure everything's working. All right, but then we of course will be producing a ton of molten copper. And there is a standard thing you can do, which would be to, of course, just cast the copper into copper plates and then just throw them into the lava to get rid of them, really. But what I want to try is actually to use some of the game mechanics to actually just completely void all of the material here. And so what we're going to do is just say set recipe. Basically, I need actually, I think, another piece of logic. Let's get, I guess, another combinator here. And we have our clock that we took from the cars, but now we want to say if the clock signal is less than something kind of small, like 20, we'll output the low density structure from copper recipe. And we'll make this clock go kind of fast, something like 40. Okay, and so this will cause the recipe to blink on and off. But this turning on and off the recipe will actually enable us to void the molten copper. So by turning the recipe on and off, the game will actually get rid of the copper. It's kind of just a funky way of being able to void the copper that we need to void without doing it the basic way. So we should see that come to life soon enough. And I guess we'll also just go ahead and start to build, well, the next thing we also want to build is circuits. So we want to build circuits, but in order to build the circuits, we have to actually, yes, we have to get the copper. And we're not going to be getting the copper from smelting copper ore like this, but rather we are going to be, let's see, using the LDS shuffle technique, of course. Alright, beacons and modules too, why not? And this will be for the iron, so we'll be grabbing the iron and turning it into the iron plate mostly here. So we can't use the foundry recipes to make iron because once you make something with the molten, you lose the quality. But yeah, we want to just be using as much productivity as possible to get the most out of our material. Okay, so this is a somewhat of a start, and our next other main step is to use the cryolab. Cryolab? Yes. Okay, so this is why we needed the petroleum gas and things. And so we'll have over here, I guess, just we make the plastic bar, but of course we want to do legendary. And this will take legendary coal in. Let's do it this way. And put plastic out, of course, but we're going to use a cryo lab because it could take 8 module slots and give us a huge amount of productivity. So we want that. This is also necessary, isn't it? This is for water. So we probably need this. Okay. And we need the petroleum gas. So just do this, I guess. Okay, and so then hopefully we'll see, yeah, the stuff is here. So we sent down our first load of a couple things. And what we want to do as well is make a bunch of the cargo bays, if we have any. We need some more space. Let's see, collector. Yeah, just send those down, why not? Alright, great. We got our first batch of legendary material here. Coming. I guess I need the other regular furnaces. I should have them. So let's downgrade those. Okay, we got tons of iron coming, and we should see some coal on here, right? Some of the coal should be coming down here soon. And that'll give us tons of plastic. And then what we'll do is do the LDS shuffle, and I want to do that over here, I think. So this will be actually make LDS, but actually make legendary LDS. And so we will need then, yeah, there we go. There's our plastic bar. So from 0.39, well, we need beacon. Oops, beacon. Beacon, go faster. Yes, so from 3 coals we'll get 15 plastics. And then from 5 plastics we'll get some LDS, but with all the productivity bonuses, now we have the better modules even too, so let's get these in there. Okay, this needs an output. Okay, so there's our stone, so this will turn the legendary calcite into stone, and of course it produces the copper byproduct, but yeah, by just turning the recipe on and off with this timer circuit, it actually will avoid the molten copper here, you see? And so we are just really bottlenecked by actually how much stone is being produced. So that's kind of cool. I think we can make it go faster, so maybe let's try just going like 20 and 10. Let's see if this works. I don't know what the best numbers are, but maybe that's better. Okay, so then, of course, we need the molten material for the LDS. So let's get some pipes over here and get some molten copper hooked up. And we'll do something similar for molten iron, I guess. Sure, it's kind of cool. Okay, and then we should be able to just grab the LDS. And we have some recyclers. And we want to... Doesn't matter if we put quality modules in them or not, so just put speed modules in. And we'll just do this. Recycle LDS. Yes. And I guess, like, in some sense, we might want to put the plastic here, like this. So if it ever has too much plastic, we can just put it in here and force it back into the loop. But then the copper and the steel will just go into the cars here. And we can do it again on the other side. Yep, just like that. Should be fine. Modules are fine. Modules are there. We got some plastic coming. We got LDS coming. And yeah, we have 182% productivity bonus. So that's almost like every one of these we're getting 3. So we're spending, 5 plastic to get 3 LDS. But then we get, some of it back in the recycling. Once we get our productivity up a little higher, even further still, we'll actually not even be using any plastic to produce essentially to turn regular molten iron and molten copper into legendary steel and legendary copper. So we should see then hopefully some copper plates coming. We have iron plates cranking out here, and should see our LDS produce some amount of copper for us once we kind of get going a bit. But the cars are still working their way around. We could use a few more of them, I guess. I just want to make sure that the coal goes on them first, but there's no coal here, so it shouldn't be a problem. We don't want the legendary coal on there. And we're making another trip. Oh wait, no we're not. So yeah, let's get you going again. We don't want to linger too long, and should have let it go. Shouldn't have stopped it, but did its job. Dropped off all the material for us, so let's get it running around again. So as we start to go into the interplanetary space here, we get a bunch of asteroids and ramp up our production of the Campbelltron. It kind of looks like a slot machine where all the crushers like blinking on and off with different recipes and stuff. So it's kind of fun to watch. Okay, there we go. See it ramping up again, getting us some legendary material. So, okay, and then we should be seeing hopefully some point the copper making it over to the copper cables over there. Then what we'll do is make some circuits. So we need to make blue circuits as well as red circuits. Blue circuits first. So again, we don't really have to worry about the liquids being legendary, of course. And we'll just kind of set this one up. So that would be the blue circuits. We also want red circuits. Let's change this to red. And we need maybe a couple of these. And beacons. Let's consider this. Okay. Okay, that would be everything for making all these circuits, hopefully. So we should see where, oh, I see. This is not legendary is the problem. Legendary, that is why. There we go. And legendary. Okay, there we go. Now we're cranking out circuits, yes. Very nice. Okay, now we're talking. Tons of copper cables. LDS is going, plastic now, should be ramping up, looking really solid there. Okay, good. Okay, and then yes, our basic plan is then just to build quality modules. That is really all we are after for today. So we want to build legendary quality 1s and the legendary quality 2s, which only take the circuits. And I think we can give it a little bit of speed maybe. Let's do this. Okay, this. And just start making a bunch of these. And we'll be happy campers here. So yeah, we need the green circuits, we need the blue circuits and the red circuits, and lots of these quality modules, but you know, of course we get the productivity bonus with the EM plants, and we're already legendary, so we don't need to use any other types of quality modules in between. And yeah, it might take a couple of iterations for the red circuits to go back around and get to the blue circuits, but that's not really going to be too big of a deal here. We do see our LDS cranking out pretty effectively, I would say. Yes, eventually we are going to have to do something kind of crazy where we actually might have to throw away legendary copper. I know it's almost blasphemy here, but basically we're gonna get so much out of this that if we want steel, we actually have to throw away copper, and we can do that by just actually using a wire to read the contents in the recycler, and we can just say if the legendary copper is building up too much. So if it's just greater than, say, 60, then we'll start ditching it into the lava. Goodbye. And we'll actually do something similar for this one, but this one will just be the same thing, but for the steel. Alright, so can we get both of these? Okay, so this should say steel, and we're already ditching some. Oops. Don't actually do it yet. Do that, and then this time say steel. Okay, so yes, this will, oops, oh well. This will eventually, be used to make sure we're always have some production of either copper or steel using those machines, or both. So shove that in there and get more wires, get more circuits. Gimme. Yeah, that's looking nice. So hopefully we see maybe some action here. Yeah, we got a bit of the quality modules coming now. Alright, we're really cranking stuff out here, aren't we? It's pretty impressive. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna shove this in here for now, just to get this going a little bit. New circuits. And we're getting lots of productivity there as well. Alright, very nice. Very nice. Okay, so let's see how you were doing. Back at Novice, so you should be coming to Volcanus next, and this round we've gotten 360 iron, maybe 25, 25 or 30 coal, so not so impressive, but we will get better and better as we continue to tech up, and the legendary quality modules are actually much better than the regular ones. Turns out that actually the legendary quality module 2s are actually the second best quality modules. The legendary module 2s are actually better than even the epic module 3s, and so since we don't require the superconductors to make them, we can directly get them from this chain that starts with the asteroid processing and make a lot of them. So we want to start by getting those legendary modules everywhere. We would like to actually upgrade this eventually so that everything here has the legendary models. So I can actually go ahead and start to maybe paste this down and get the ship to request them here. Something like that. We'll have to do it again special for the epic ones here, but we want them all to request the module 2s there, and we have started producing some of them, but yes, it's going to of course take a bit of time. We'll see what the bottlenecks are. Hopefully though it starts to even out and get going a bit. We do have lots of production now. See, we've already made over 4,000 legendary green circuits, and if we look at Novice, we search for, is this word legendary? Yes, we only have made 115 in all of the Novice production over all this time, so that is just a testament to how much more effective the asteroid upcycling is than the kind of standard methods for getting quality, and we've more or less made everything on Novice with quality just obsolete now. And we want to also continue cranking out these asteroid productivity bonuses, because that also helps in our chain of making the legendary quality material. Well, there we go. We just got back to Volcanus here with the legendary collector and sent more material down, so that's very exciting. So we should see all this coal and copper coming down now, and there we go, going onto the cars. Very exciting. Probably just like all of it just went into that one car though, so that's not maybe the best. So maybe we just kind of lower this a little bit so it spreads it out a little better, but I don't know if it matters that much. So you're just gonna see one car come by and hopefully devour all the coal it has. But okay, so yeah, that is then I think basically where we're at here. And we got started with our new legendary production, and the collector is doing a pretty good job at getting some material for us and using the Gambletron method to upcycle the asteroids and give us tons of base material. And now we've set up a bit of production to make all the basic materials here that we'll need eventually to produce all sorts of legendary logistics stuff. But our first starting goal is to make modules, and yes, the quality module 2 legendaries are really great, so we want to build a lot of those and use them to make our legendary collector even better. And so once we upgrade these modules, we'll be producing even more legendary material, and we can continue to expand out our logistics mall essentially for all the buildings, all the spaceship parts, everything we want that we can think of from the base materials. And eventually we'll need to figure out how to get legendary stuff of like the unique resources on all the planets, but that will be in the future. But I think for now we are looking pretty here with our upgraded base for Volcanus. Got our tungsten train as well coming with a lot more tungsten ore for us. And yes, we see legendary blue circuits going, and thousands and thousands of green circuits have been made already. Cool, but I think, yes, I will be calling the session here. There you go. Factorio impacts. And I will see you in the next video.